Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy, man. And I felt the need to make a video talking about this subject tonight. As we all know now, the Brooklyn Nets are getting themselves another former All-Star on the bare minimum, at the expense of another franchise, man. With that being free agent Lamarcus Aldridge, played some sound with the Brooklyn Nets, sources tell ESPN, man. And I'm going to say, okay, I know Brooklyn Net fans. There's a lot of really good fans out there that have been through thick and thin with their team and everything, and they're all cool for the most part. But then there's a lot of bandwagoners that come with getting guys like Kevin Durant and James Harden on your team. But I'm gonna say, man, straight up, at what point is enough, man? At what point do you just say, even as a fan of the team, being like, we don't really need Lamarcus Aldridge, man. We don't really need this guy. We don't really need all these guys, man. This is absolutely insane. I think the NBA has a huge problem with the buyout market. Something that's it's never been this bad before, to the point where if you simply, sign this ridiculous large contract and you get to the tail end of that contract, you could just get bought out, man, and just sign with a championship team. And at that point, what's the value of even having a contract in the first place? You know what I'm saying? So, with all due respect, we got the players out here that are agreeing to take less money, right? But, $20 million, $30 million at some point, man, it's just you're set for life, right? But I do get that aspect of it. Don't get me wrong, man. But I just think this is absolutely, insane. And I will say, I feel bad for, the teams out there, the fan bases, who thought this season they had, a legitimate chance at winning the championship. You know what I mean? Like teams out there that have gone through, the rebuild and drafting the correct players, signing the right guys, and getting to that point, man. And now we literally, I think right now this Brooklyn Nets team, this is the biggest super team of all time. At least on paper. I do think that Durant, when he was on the Golden State Warriors, that was the most optimal super team of all time, if that makes sense. The way Durant played with Curry and Klay and having Draymond out there, that was pretty damn optimal, man. But as far as names and looking at the box score and just seeing these guys listed, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, Lamarcus Aldridge, DeAndre Jordan. You got damn Joe Harris shooting damn 97% from three out there, right? Which is, good for him and stuff, right, man? But this is crazy. We have never seen anything like this before. And I think it's to the point, for one, it is a perfect storm thing going on here, right? Where first they had to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and then, the James Harden trade happened. The Brooklyn Nets, the Houston Rockets did not really have to agree to that trade, but they did. But at the same time, much similar with a buyout, where you could just kind of be I don't want to play or whatever, kind of like what Blake Griffin did with the Pistons, which, whatever, I didn't want to be part of a rebuild, that's fine. But it's the same thing with being traded, where you can just kind of say hey, I request a trade, I want to go to a different team. So that's how ultimately Harden got over on the Nets. And now Lamarcus and Blake Griffin, and it's absolutely ridiculous, man. But literally the perfect storm. So I'm hoping what we are seeing here is something we will never see again. But at the same time, I think a lot of it too has to do with the development of players and medicine in the NBA and stuff. Because I got his stats pulled up real quick here, man. We got Lamarcus Aldridge. He's 35. So I think the reason this problem's kind of arising is because players are so much better later on in their age. For example, you had David West, who went to the Golden State Warriors to try to ring chase or whatever. David West, I don't know how old he was when he played for the Warriors. I guess I could literally look it up. But guys like David West, guys that were once All-Stars, great players. He was 35, 36. Actually, he was at the Spurs the season before. So, hey, man, it's a similar circumstance. But the thing is, when David West was 35, there's the numbers if you guys want to see, man. He was trash. He was garbage. But Lamarcus is literally still a game changer in my opinion. I do think that Lamarcus obviously has not been all that great this season. 14 points, 4 or 5 rebounds per game, which is honestly probably realistically what he's going to average on the Brooklyn Nets, something like that if he starts or whatever. But that was playing limited minutes, unmotivational basketball. Last year he was damn 19 points. Before that, 21 points per game. So Lamarcus Aldridge still got it, is what I'm saying. So now it's not even so much ring chasing, because ring chasing typically is once all-star caliber player or just really good solid players going to these teams to try to get a ring. But these are guys that I legitimately think can like still be great players if they were somewhere else. So I think it's different in that mindset, man. So this is just like insane to think about. And I want to look up the Brooklyn Nets roster real quick here because I don't even know how this rotation even works. I really don't even know how this rotation works. What are we, 2021 season? Sound about right, man, right? Okay, so yeah, let me shrink down my screen here too real quick here. My apologies, man. I'll edit all this out, guys. Yeah, I was not even make a video about this, bro. I saw this news and I was like, man, I'm just going to let this one pass. But it's so insane. Like, I really, like if you are a Nets fan, if you're still watching this, let me know in the comment section below. What is your mindset? Like, are you just like laughing up being like, ha, it's about damn time? Or like, do you like lose pride at some point where it's like, ooh, like this doesn't really feel like all that meaningful? I mean, it's still going to be meaningful when you guys do win a championship. But you know, it's at the same time too where it's just like, oh, you got all these damn players now, man. And do you really need all those players? So yeah, we have not even really seen Durant play with Kyrie and James Harden all that much. Like we saw a little bit. I think what was like 1 or 2 games. Have we seen Durant play with James Harden yet? I don't remember or not, man. But yo, shout out to Elias Johnson, averaging 23 points. Y'all get this superstar. What the hell is this? 23 points, 15 rebounds for Elias Johnson. Y'all don't even need damn Blake Griffin or Lamarcus Aldridge. You got to go. Yo, I'm sorry, man. This is throwing me literally for a loop right now. Elias Johnson. Did he really play one game and get 23 points and 15 rebounds and got his ass cut? Why is this man not getting signed up to play more? This is crazy. What is 6'7"? 24 years old. You'll get him to Detroit right now, man. But regardless, like I don't really know what to think of this circumstance here, guys. It's gonna be weird. It's just okay. This is my ultimate big issue with it is that, you know, Blake Griffin, Lamarcus Aldridge, those guys are not going to put up good numbers on this Nets team. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, it's literally, like, I understand ring chasing from, like, a 36-year-old David West that can still put up some numbers, like role player numbers, but he was just incapable of putting up, like, his New Orleans Hornets days numbers, right, man? Where, like, I still think, well, that's the big thing about Blake Griffin is saying he, like, faked his injury and stuff like that, or, like, faked not really caring and stuff like that. Where clearly last night we saw he could still ball out. And, you know, same with Lamarcus Aldridge, man. I mean, it's just so weird, guys. So, you guys let me know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts about this? Is there a buyout problem within the NBA? I think ultimately speaking, if want to be 100% honest about it, I do think the NBA needs to look into some sort of buyout clause. And I know people are already in the comments saying, oh, Crispy, like, you're just blah, 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 blah. That's, you know, which is fine. But at the same time, I think that there is a huge buyout market issue in the NBA where, you know, small market teams, super big name, ego, whatever player no longer wants to play there, doesn't like their situation or whatever. So they can just kind of cry about it and then go to a super team. Still get their contract bought out. But I think what ultimately needs to happen is either there needs to be a cap on how many guys you can get in a buyout, you know, in one season. Like, you can get, like, one guy in the buyout. But even that's, like, there's other cases, too, where you might need to, like, sign somebody. Or I think what needs to happen is to kind of save some of these smaller market teams like the Spurs or the Pistons. I think that the team that the guy goes to, I think they should be on the hook for, like, some of the money from the bought out contract. You know, because LaMarcus was on, like, a $31 million deal. So the Spurs now have to pay $31 million or whatever the buyout was agreed to. They are now on hooked for that money. Although he might have been expiring contract, though, so it's not the same. Like Blake Griffin getting bought out with 2 years left on his contract, that stuff rarely ever happens. But even so, man, I don't know if it has to be something along the lines of just, like, being on hook for some of the money or something. I don't know, man. It's crazy, though. So I'm not trying to sound like, you know, a complainer, but I guess literally I'm complaining. Like, I am complaining about it because I do love the game of basketball, I love the integrity of the game, and it just, I don't know. People got really offended, like when I said in my Blake Griffin Nets debut video against the Pistons or whatever. They got really offended when I said that, like, you know, so talking about like a true rebuild and stuff like that. And I think there is something to be said about them. I think there is something to be said about being prideful and, like, a team starting from the bottom and, you know, drafting and signing and he's developing and stuff like that, man. And shout out to the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, like some true fans out there have suffered through some bad times with the Brooklyn Nets, and congratulations for winning like the Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving sweepstakes. Like they agreed to team up there, they wanted to play for you guys' management, so there is that in the end of the day. But I would have been cool just watching Durant and Kyrie do their thing this season, see how they would have done with like some role players and stuff. I feel like that was the mindset of where, like, to me, Kevin Durant was no longer bitch ass Durant. At that point, it's like, okay, he's gonna go play with Kyrie. He's gonna be Batman, Kyrie's gonna be Robin, and we're gonna see if they can win a championship. But now, obviously, you include James Harden, that Blake Griffin, Lamarcus Aldridge, they got DeAndre Jordan. It's just, to me, it's just less meaningful. But hey, what do I know? It's not my team. Net fans might, when they win the championship, might be like, yeah, like this still feels just as meaningful, and that's completely fine. Like, if that's how you feel, that's your opinion, man. I'm just giving you guys mine on my reaction channel. So that's all we got. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.